Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new series of videos where we get to cover a mechanic that I see a lot of people trying to do with various methods. I'm going to show you a different way of approaching this method, which was to create your own light detection system for a stealth game. These are often used to allow the player to hide in the shadows and stalk their prey and suddenly reveal themselves, making your shadow being your ally. Well, in this series, we're going to cover how to approach this that doesn't rely on simple line traces of nearby light sources, as this isn't the greatest because it doesn't take into account of things like reflective light or anything of that sort of nature. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we can accomplish this in this project. So to get started, I've set up a very basic scene here of a very basic AI character that will just follow me and chase me when it sees me. What I want it to do is not to see me in the shadow before it starts chasing me. So what is the solution to this? Well, you may have seen some people suggesting the method of line tracing from various different light sources and getting all the light sources within a radius. This isn't the greatest idea because you've got to account for light sources that may be outside that radius, but they're like maybe still influencing the scene. Plus, you've got to deal with things like reflective light and other things like that. And if you've got baked lighting, then it gets even more confusing. So how to actually approach this? Well, we're going to use something called a probe method. And the probe method is something I created where we set up a basic probe and we scene capture that probe to figure out and read what pixel colors they are. And if they are bright or not bright, that determines whether or not we're in shadows. So let's get started on how this works. The first thing we're going to need to do is set up our light detector. So we're going to create a new actor for this. And we're going to call it BP light sensor. And the way this thing works is it's going to have a cube, just a white cube. And we're going to make this cube smaller. I'm going to put it down to like 0.3. So relatively small. And I want to angle it so that the corner edges are facing up. Okay. So let's rotate this around. And put this 45° and 45° there. Okay. So we've got it on this like diamond sort of shape. Because what we're going to do is we're going to look down at it with the scene capture, sample 3 pixels from each side of the cube to determine what shade overall, on average, we are in. So we can now, with that cube selected, add a spring arm. And that spring arm we're going to rotate to be 90° up. Now we may need to adjust it because we want it to be as dead center as possible to the cube's corner there, the vertex of the cube. There we go. And attached that spring arm is going to be a scene capture component. Now, the scene capture component is basically a camera that looks down at the object, in this case, and will render it to a texture, which then we can read later on. So for this to work, I'm going to make the spring arm here a lot shorter. And bring it down to 50. And the scene capture component here, I want to make sure if reset its rotation. So I want the x-axis pointing down. This used to have a preview mesh. I don't know why it doesn't have a preview mesh anymore, but hey ho. But x is pointing down. Okay, so that's what we want. It's pointing down towards our cube here. Now, a few other things we want to do is change the field of view down a lot. We only want the cube. We don't want anything else. So we'll change the field of view down to like 30. And we'll change the spring arm here to have no collision. We don't want to get bounced around a lot. And I think that'll do on that side of things. Then what we've got to do to set up our scene capture component is to add on a texture target. So we're going to go ahead where it says none and choose a render target. And we'll call this one T light sensor. And a few things in here we'll be aware of. We want it to capture every frame and capture one movement. And we also want it to be rendering primitive mode. Now, I used to try and do this in UE4, but we've used show only list. But for some reason, I think it has something to do with Lumen. I'm not entirely certain. The light values don't come through when you do show only. So we're going to render the whole scene. And on the capture source here, in case you've got anything like post-processing, anything like that to account for, we're going to go to capture source and change that to final color. Like so. And you can kind of see already the texture render target is already printing out. And you can see it's a little bit too low. So let's adjust that by adjusting the spring arm. So we want it as close to center as possible. It might well be that spring arm just needs to be reset to 0. Let's try reset it to 0. What would that look like? Probably not nowhere near like it. No. Let's move it back to where it was over here. That's not looking too bad. It doesn't be exact, just an approximation. That'll do. Yeah, so the texture target looks like this. Okay. And we can leave it at 256 by 256. That's totally fine. We just want to capture basically 3 quadrants, essentially. And I might make it a bit closer so we don't get these little corner gaps here. Just because if it can't see it, it won't have extra work to render it. So we're going to make it as simple as a job for the renderer as possible. So let's just bring our spring arm in a bit closer. So rather than 50, let's try 30. Not too close to cutting off there. We'll change that back to 40. That's a bit better. Yeah. Might adjust it a little bit to bring it up a little bit there. That'll do. I say just a close approximation will do just fine. As we're going to take a sample in a general area, not going to be just extra specific about it. But there we go. There's our texture. So the light sensor is going to be capturing this cube. And what's going to happen is on the event graph, we want it to constantly check and grab shadow data. Now you can do this on a tick. You can do it on a delayed tick if you want. So you can put a tick timer if you want it on. Totally up to you how you want to optimize it. For now, I'm going to leave it on tick. But if you do want to change the tick speed, you can go into tick and change the tick interval here from 2 seconds. And what we're going to do is we need to set up, first of all, the tick here to capture that texture. So how this works is we're going to use a node called read pixel, sorry. You'll see read render target pixel, and we want the raw pixel here. And what this node does, it lets you put in a texture target. In this case, we're going to do T light sensor. And we're going to put in a coordinate of which pixels we want to render, or capture, sorry. And just give us a value from him. So X and Y terms, what we need to do, if I go to my sensor, is I want to take one from the top here, roughly in the middle. So half of 256 by 256 is 128. So that will give us the X-axis. And then the Y-axis, we can go down by about 30. So it doesn't have to be exact, just a rough estimate. Like so. That's the first one. Next, I want to capture another one. So I'm going to capture different, I'm going to copy and paste it and then capture a different coordinate. In this case, I'm going to go 30 along in the X and go down to about, what's that, 128 again? You go 128. Yeah, that'll be fine. So we'll just invert this to 30 and 128. And the last one is going to go to this far side one. So we're going to add or take away 30 from the end here. So we'll say that's at 220 in the X and 128 in the Y. And we want these to be normalized because we just want values between 1 and 0. And for each of these, I want to split the return value here. Because we don't need the whole 4 vectors. We just need one, really. We just want to get one data from it. And I'm going to take this R value and we're going to add them together. So let's add the R values together. And I want to divide it by how many there are, 3. This will give us an average of the colors seen here. And if I do a print string, this will print out the value. So that's the light sensor on there. We're going to now add it to our player character. So let's go over to here. And we're going to add it as a child actor to our character here. We'll just name it light sensor. And then actor class is going to be light sensor. You should see that little cube appear there like that. I'm going to put it above the character's head slightly. That'll do. Now we will eventually make this so you can't see it in game, but for now, for demonstration purposes, we're going to leave it on. Okay. And so if I hit play now, you can see that print string now printing out those values. So we've got a light sensor value of 0.6. And as I run around, oh, it would also help if I turned off collision. So go at light sensor, cube, and we'll turn off collision there. No collision. There we go. As you can see, if we run around, the value will change. Okay. And if I go into the shadow, it goes way down. So we're now getting a value to determine whether or not we're in shadow or not. So that's the hard part done. We've now got a way to determine whether or not we're in shadow or in light. Then what we need to do is make this so we can't see it. So what we're going to do is we're going to change it so it can hide on ownership. So we're going to go to the child actor on the right hand side and do set owner. And that will set the owner to this actor here. I then want to go to the light sensor and search in the cube here for owner no C. And now it will still print out the values, but I can't see it. So there you have it, a very basic light sensor really. All it's doing is taking this probe and measuring the light values of this different cube. Now, this is just part one. We have just determined that we're in light and shadow. What's next though? Well, we've got a few things we want to do. One, we're going to make up a system to allow us to determine from the AI's point of view, can they see us or can they not? And it works slightly different than you may think. Secondly, we also want some UI element, maybe a little eyeball on the screen that's going to open its eyes every time we're in shadow and not in shadow. So these various things like this will make our game more what we expect to see in a stealth game. You can watch the next part right now over on patreon.com/Ryan Laley, where you can find all our videos early from just $1 a month. A massive thank you to all our patrons and YouTube members for their continued support. Remember, if you want private sessions, you can find those over on our website, or become a Diamond Patron member and get one per month. Massive thank you to all our patrons and YouTube subscribers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.